If anyone needs to put their tape recorders up here, now would be the time to do that. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us here on short notice today. This time I'd like to bring up Michigan State University Vice President and Director of Athletics, Alan Howard.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us this afternoon on such short notice. I'm here to provide an update on an active and ongoing investigation. Before I share that update, it's important to know that I'm limited in the information I can share and the questions I can answer because this is an investigation that's still ongoing. Upon receiving the reports from the claimant regarding Mel Tucker, MSU's Office of Civil Rights immediately commenced a review of subsequent investigation per university protocol using an outside third-party investigator. I was aware of the report in late December. The external investigator concluded their review and submitted their investigative report on July 25th with the recommendation for a formal hearing, which will occur the week of October 5th. The university's objective has been and remains focused on conducting a fair, thorough, and unbiased investigation and allowing the processes to play out. This includes protecting confidentiality of the claimant and putting in place interim measures. The university's formal conclusion of the investigation will occur once the hearing and final decision processes are complete. I want to emphasize again, this investigation is not complete. Interim measures are something that are constantly evaluated throughout the process based on developments that may have a potential impact on the ongoing investigation. As there have been new developments before the hearing and with the best interest of everyone, including student athletes and the university community in mind, I have suspended Mel Tucker without pay as an additional interim measure. While the investigation continues, I made this decision with the support of university leadership. I'd now like to welcome Interim President Teresa Woodruff to the podium for a few brief comments.
Thank you, Alan. I want to reinforce that these matters are unique and complex, and our investigations are designed to be comprehensive and fair. Our guiding principles are equity in process and confidentiality for all involved in order to protect the integrity of the investigation. I want to put a fine point on what A.D. Haller shared just a moment ago. In the MSU of today, when any report comes into the university, it is appropriately and rigorously reviewed. In the MSU of today, our investigative processes are fair and thorough. In the MSU of today, in all cases, we continually review interim measures to ensure appropriate actions are taken. So this morning's news might sound like the MSU of old. It was not. It is not because an independent, unbiased investigation is and continues to be conducted. That investigative process is not complete and had not been referred to A.D. Haller or the university. That process will not be complete until there is a hearing and a final decision. It is not the MSU of old because we maintain the confidence of the claimant and the respondent while respecting and valuing the claimant's and respondent's right to share their story. It is not because of the further action we take today. The action A.D. Haller took comes with the full weight of my support. As he shared, these new developments before the formal hearing can impact the case and the community. This step to place Mel Tucker on an unpaid leave is equally necessary and appropriate for today's circumstances. These actions are not taken lightly, and I know A.D. Howler is making them in support of the interests of the individuals impacted. Before I conclude, I want to reinforce that this indeed is an ongoing investigation. I appreciate the commitment of the leadership and staff within the Office for Civil Rights for their important, thorough, and unbiased work today and every day. I also want to thank the Board of Trustees, Faculty Senate Chair, and student leaders for their engagement with me today. It is not lost on me the significance of this moment or its impact on those involved in the case, our university community, and the extended Spartan family. The MSU of today is creating a culture that is welcoming, supportive, and caring. The bravery and work of our collective community defines our institution and its people, not the action of any single individual. If you have heard or experienced or know of behavior that does not seem appropriate, please know that you have the support and resources here at MSU, including our Center for Survivors, which is a confidential resource, or our Office for Civil Rights. Additionally, for those among our community for whom this information is difficult, MSU's counseling and psychiatric services is also available to help. To members of the media, I hope you note these important and critical resources for our community in your stories. Now I'd like to welcome A.D. Howler back to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Today I met with our student athletes and coaches to provide an update on the leadership of the program. Beginning immediately, Harlan Barnett will serve as acting head coach, while Mark D'Antonio will become an associate head coach. A former Spartan student athlete with 21 years of coaching experience, including 15 on the Spartan sideline, Coach Barnett has an incredible connection to our university and takes incredible pride in being a Spartan. He has established relationships with student athletes and is focused on the well-being first and foremost. Coach D'Antonio not only is an exceptional football coach and will be a tremendous resource for Harlan. Both men have a deep love and care for Michigan State football, Spartan athletics, the university, and the East Lansing community. Coach Barnett will be available later this week for questions.
At this time, we've got time for 2 or 3 questions. We do have a mic. I know we won't be able to get to everybody, but Ben's got the mic here. Start in front with Chris.
Alan, with the decision to promote Harlan and bring back Mark D'Antonio, from a football standpoint, how did that come about, and what was Mark's response when you contacted him, how that worked?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. You know, Chris, I think all the time, and I'm always processing information, processing situations. I can't tell you that I thought of this yesterday, today, or even a couple of days ago. I'm always thinking. So these are contingency things that I think about with all of our programs in a lot of different situations. So it's been an ongoing process for me, Chris. I called Coach D'Antonio this morning, and his response was, Alan, whatever you need, I'm here to help. So he was excited to be back, and Coach D will probably be back at some point tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely on Tuesday. We're still trying to figure out his role, but he definitely will wear a headset either on the sidelines and up in the booth, and he'll offer his knowledge of his coaching career. So I think it'll be a tremendous asset for our student athletes and our staff, and the student athletes were fired up when I mentioned that to them. Thanks, Rick.
Matt Wenzel.
Yeah, Alan, I was wondering, with the timeline you laid out for the process and the investigation, I was wondering what changed to make you take action now, given what you knew before?
Yeah, Matt, we're always evaluating. Interim measures were in place, and those interim measures have been updated. Initially, there were no contact with the complainant, and then also increased oversight from me of the program, but then also the coach. So it's an ongoing process, and we update those interim measures as we receive information.
Last question here from Graham.
Was there any consideration once the findings came, once the investigation was complete in July, and you sort of had the information you do now of doing what you're doing now before the season, before it sort of interrupted what's going on with student athletes?
Yeah, for me, Graham, it was, working and waiting on the university as it relates to their investigative process and making sure that they were allowed to complete their investigation. And so, although the investigation was complete on the 25th, there's still ongoing processes that still need to be played out.
So thank you. That's all the time that we have for today. Appreciate you guys for joining us on short notice. Thank you.